Here's a close-up of the slipper socks that I'm going to show you how to make on this video tutorial. Here's the bottom portion. I also show you how to size them. So here's the front, and then here's the bottom, and then the heel portion. And then going up the slipper sock, here's the back design. And then here I have the front. And you can also see the color changes where I made them. So I tell you in the video tutorial to move your color change towards the back. And then here is the other one, the front. And then the back of this one. And then for this one I had the color change more to the side. So before you start yours, you just want to make sure that you have the color changes where you want them. It came out beautifully for both. And I'm going to be making more of these because I had so much fun with them. You can have fun with the different stitches. For this crochet project, you're going to need your 5mm crochet hook, as well as a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. Here is just a US sock sizing chart, and I have this available for free download on my Helen May Crochet YouTube channel Facebook group. It's in the group files. It's free to join my group. Or you can just use this video tutorial because I show all of the graphs for the Euro, UK, and the US. Here is the one sock I made, which is a little bit larger. And across the length on the bottom, this one measures about 9.5 inches. And on video tutorial, I'm going to show you one that's about 9 inches. The width on this one, I'm going to show you how I made the width on this one. This one is about 4.5 inches in width. And I'm going to show you a smaller width one and then how I made this one. The length of mine from the ankle up is 11.5 inches, and then across the width is about 5.5 inches. The yarn that I use is I love this yarn. Here's some information about this yarn. It has a free pattern included. The color is gray beard. Then I also use the same yarn with the white color as well as the black colored yarn. I used this variegated yarn for the center of my flower, but you can use any yellowish colored yarn, 100% acrylic yarn, for the same thing. You can start with whatever yarn color that you want. I'm starting with my gray yarn, and I'm going to start with a magic circle. Just take your yarn, drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, then wrap it around your 2 middle fingers, and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then just take your crochet hook, go under those 2 loops around the middle finger. You're going to bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So you just bring up a loop, you have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both for a single crochet. So that counts as 1. We're going to make 6 of those into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your forefinger and thumb and just hold the base of the 6th single crochet. Then you have those 2 loops on the opposite side. Pull on one of them to close up the loop. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. And don't worry if you don't get it closed all the way. We can close it more later. Then just let go and take the loose yarn end and pull on that. And then you can see how it closes up the magic circle. Just turn your work to work into the first stitch. We're going to make 2 single crochets into that first stitch. So go into that first stitch, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're going to make 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make 2 single crochets into every stitch around until you have a total of 12, and then come back. So I'm going to make 1 more with you. 1 more set. So now I have a total of 4. And you're going to continue making 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12, and then come back. Now you should have a total of 12 stitches all the way around. And if you still have a little opening in the center of your magic circle, just turn your work over and then pull on that loose yarn end, and then that will close up the center of the magic circle. Then you can just take your yarn marker and place it right where you left off. I'm just using one of my scraps of yarn as a yarn marker, and we're going to start increase rounds to make it bigger, or increase the number of stitches in the round. So you're going to make 1 single crochet into that first stitch, then 2 single crochet into the second stitch, and then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. I'll make 1 more set with you. 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. You should have finished 18 stitches for that round. Then go ahead and take and move your yarn marker up for your next increase round. For the next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Then you just repeat that pattern, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch, all the way around back to the yarn marker. I had 24 stitches for that round. Then you're going to take and move your yarn marker up for your next increase round. You're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. Then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So I just finished 30 stitches on that round, and for the smaller sock, this is where I'm going to stop. But if you like the width on my larger sock, then you would do 1 more increase round. So I increased 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch, and repeated that pattern all the way around to get a slightly larger or wider sock. And then for the narrower sock, I stopped at 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 4th. Now we're going to change colors. So you're going to take and remove the yarn marker, take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. Go ahead and get your black yarn or whatever color you want next for your sock. Then you're just going to yarn over and bring the yarn or hook the yarn through both loops. Then you can go ahead and chain 1, and then just turn your work over and cut the previous color. Leave enough yarn for burying into your work. Then you can take and tie a knot. Now you're ready to crochet with your new color, the black colored yarn. And I take the loose yarn ends and bring them to the side. I'm going to bury them as I crochet in the round. Take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, go behind the loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make a single crochet. Then you're just going to make one single crochet into every stitch around until you've completed 4 rounds. So you're going to make 4 rounds of one single crochet in every stitch around. So as you're making your rounds, you should have the same number of stitches each time you get around the circle. You're not increasing the numbers of stitches, so your stitch count should remain the same. I finished 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, of one single crochet in every stitch, and this is how my work looks so far. Now go ahead and turn the work inside out. We're going to go ahead and bury the loose yarn end on the inside. Just take your tapestry needle and put it onto the loose yarn end. Then you're just going to take and weave the loose yarn end through your work. I usually go back through and weave it another time, and then once you've weaved it through enough times, you can go ahead and just cut it. Now you're ready to join the white yarn. Just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, take and hook the white yarn and bring it through both loops, chain 1. Then you can take and cut the previous colored yarn, leaving enough of a loose yarn end for burying into your work. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot. Now you're ready to make your Trinity stitches, and we're going to bury our loose yarn ends as we work. So you're going to go into the next stitch over, go behind the loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, go into the same stitch you made a single crochet into, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook. Then you're going to go into the next stitch, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, 4 loops on the hook. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 4 loops. Then chain 1 to complete a Trinity stitch. And you're going to repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. I'm going to make one more with you. You're going to go into the same stitch you just finished, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 4. Then you're going to chain 1. Don't forget your chain 1. And then you've completed 2 Trinity stitches. You're going to keep repeating Trinity stitches all the way around back to the beginning. I'll go ahead and do one more with you. Again, you're going to go into the stitch you just finished, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 4. Then you're going to chain 1. Then repeat all the way around. Now I'm back to where I started, and this is what my work looks like so far. You can see how I have my Trinity stitches going all the way around, and I'm back to where I started. I just finished my last Trinity stitch. Then I'm going to go ahead and change back to the black colored yarn. So I'm going to go into the next stitch over. I'm going to bring up a loop, and then I'm going to join the black yarn. So I'm going to loop the black yarn and bring it through both loops. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut the previous colored yarn. and tie a knot. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. I'm going to go behind my loose yarn ends to bury them. So I'm just going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around, back to the beginning, and then come back. Now I'm back to where I started, and I just want to show you what my stitches look like around. So this is one method that you can use, and you can change colors and use different colors if you want. This is just the color selection that I made, and this is what your stitch will look like. Now I'm going to show you a different stitch method for the next round. If you want, you can just continue repeating this stitch the way you did the white and then the black the same way. But if you want to change it up, I'm going to show you another way that you can do it. Now we're going to change back to the white color. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop, and then take your white yarn and then you're going to change colors the same way that you did before. I'm going to cut my previous color, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot. So for the first round, you're going to make the stitch the exact same way as you did the white stitch on the previous round. You're going to go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet. I'm going behind my loose yarn ends. And then you're going to make your trinity stitches. So you're going to go into the same stitch that you just made your single crochet, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, next stitch over, bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 4, then chain 1. So the exact same way that you did the previous trinity stitch round, all the way around. Now I'm back to where I started, so then I'm going to go ahead and go into the next stitch over to change colors the exact same way that I did for the black round on the previous round. Just bring up a loop, get your black yarn, go ahead and hook it and bring it through, and go ahead and chain 1, and then just cut the previous colored yarn just like we did before. You can go ahead and tie your knot. Now you can make 1 single crochet in every stitch around if you want it to look just like the previous black round. But if you want to change it up a little bit, I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to go into the same stitch to make your single crochet. Make sure you go behind your loose yarn ends. Then you're going to make, in every stitch between the trinity stitches, you're going to make a double crochet. And then at the top of the trinity stitches where you have your chain 1, you're going to make a single crochet. So my next stitch is between the trinity stitches. So I'm going to make a double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into the single crochet on the black round from the previous round, behind the loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go through 2. So this is what your work would look like. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous round's trinity stitch. Then you can see that my next stitch is between the trinity stitches, so I'm going to yarn over, go into that single crochet of the black round of the previous rounds, behind the loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2 for a double crochet. And you can see how the stitch is looking double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. Then I'm in the chain 1 space of the previous round's trinity stitch. So I'm going to make a single crochet into that stitch. Then between the trinity stitches I'm going to make a double crochet. And then you're just going to keep repeating this all the way around, back to the beginning. And this is how your work will look all the way around. Now I'm back to where I started, and you can see the beautiful stitch pattern it creates, and you can make yours exactly like mine. You can change the colors, you can have a lot of fun with this pattern. And I'm just going to show you the difference. This is the sock that I increased to 4, 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. And remember, for the one that we're making right now, I only increased to 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. So I'm just going to show you the size difference. So you can see the width size difference, and I'm just going to measure the difference with my ruler for you. And it's about a half inch difference in size or width when you do that. That way you'll have an idea what size sock that you want. Then you can see the pattern. For this one I used the double crochet in between for 3 rounds. Now for the length for this sock that I'm making here, I'm only making it 9 inches, and this one was a length of 9.5. So I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to leave out one of these rounds, which is about a 1/2 inch. But you can leave out rounds here if you like to keep all of this design. So you can decide where it is that you want to make your sock smaller, if you need a smaller length. So at this point you can decide whether you want to make another pattern with the white and the black. For mine, I'm only going to make 2 for this sock because I'm making it a 1/2 inch smaller than my larger sock. So now that I'm back to the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and make a single crochet into the next stitch over. And then I'm just going to start making my single crochet rounds. So I'm going to take my yarn marker, place it right where I left off to keep track of the rounds. And I'm just going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch around until I've completed 4 rounds with the black yarn. So 4 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. This is how my sock looks so far. I just finished 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4 of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Then we're going to change colors, so you can just go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop. I'm going to go ahead and change to my gray yarn. So I'm going to hook the gray yarn and bring it through. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn the work over, cut my previous colored yarn, and then tie a knot. Then you can make a single crochet into every stitch around with your gray colored yarn and complete 4 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch with the gray colored yarn. So I just finished 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4 of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Now I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can go ahead and put the gray colored yarn onto your tapestry needle. We're going to take the 2 pieces and we're going to sew them together. So the heel is going to be towards the back. You want to make sure that on the forefoot you have the color change side on the bottom and then the right side on top. And then I have the right side facing me, and then on the inside is the wrong side. Then you also have the wrong side on the inside of the heel, and the right side that you want showing on the outside of the sock is on the outside. And then you're going to line up the two pieces so that they are even. Then I'm going to take my tapestry needle and I'm going to go right through the center of that back stitch. Then I'm going to take the heel and I'm going to have 2 stitches hanging over. So I'm going to go into the 3rd stitch in and grab the back loop only. So I'm in the center of that stitch, that 3rd stitch. Then you can go ahead and pull the yarn through, making sure you leave a long enough loose yarn end for tying a knot and burying into your work. Then you're just going to take and sew, going back and forth. So you're going to go through half of the heel stitch, then grab half of the forefoot stitch, and then bring the yarn through. And you're just going to repeat, going through half the forefoot stitch and then half of the heel stitch, sewing the 2 edges together. And you're going to do that all the way across until you get to the last 2 unworked stitches on the heel. Now you can see how I worked all the way across, and the reason you want to sew it this way is because then you don't have a ridge on the inside of your slipper. You can't even feel where you sewed it together. Now I have 2 stitches left on the end. You're going to go ahead and sew down the same way, going through half and then into the next stitch on the forefoot, half of the forefoot stitch, and finish sewing down up along the forefoot of the stitch, going through half of the stitch, and then grab that last stitch Then, if you have a loose yarn end, you can go ahead and tie a knot. If not, it's okay. Just go ahead and turn the work, because now you're going to sew the exact same way across the back of the slipper. So now I'm on the bottom of the slipper. See how I turned it over and I'm on the bottom of the slipper, and I'm going to take and bring my yarn through to the back, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing, half of the stitch to half of the stitch on the forefoot, the heel and the forefoot, sewing the back edge together the same way I sewed the inside together, all the way across to the end. You can see the nice clean stitch along the bottom. Then you're just going to go ahead and finish sewing the heel to the forefoot all the way to the end until it's completely sewn on. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot, and then just bury any of your loose yarn ends. So I'm just tying a knot on the end. I like to go twice. And then for this loose yarn end, I'm going to leave it long enough to bury, but I'm going to sew it in as I'm working up the sock. And then the inside knot, I'm going to go ahead and bury the loose yarn ends with my tapestry needle. So for mine, now I have 9 inches, so it came out perfectly for the length. And then here you can see the difference in length with my larger sock. For the smaller slipper, I have 40 stitches total around the ankle portion. For my larger slipper, I had 44 stitches around. This is the point where you can have fun with the stitches and alternate colors, whatever colors that you want to use. This is a good project for using up a lot of your extra skeins of yarn. I'm going to go ahead and start the exact same way with the white colored yarn. I usually go ahead and join at an area where I have a loose yarn end. So you just take your crochet hook, go into that space, that stitch right near the loose yarn end, and hook your new colored yarn. Then you're going to go ahead and just chain 1. And then tie a knot. Then you're going to carry your loose yarn ends as you work. So you should carry both of your loose yarn ends. And then you're going to go into the next stitch over, and then go behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make your single crochet. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. When you get back to where you started, come back and I'll show you what to do next. So now I'm back to the beginning where I first started, and I counted a total of 42 stitches. So that's not unusual for this point to have a different number of stitches, and that's okay. So if you want to adjust the size at this point, I'm going to show you how to make decrease stitches. So I'm going to start with a decrease stitch right here, and then I'm going to make 1 more decrease stitch over here. So you can kind of space your decrease stitches and put yarn markers wherever you wanted to make decrease stitches. And what I mean by decrease stitches is that I'm going to decrease the total number of stitches around. So right now I have 42 stitches, so I'm going to start with a decrease stitch, which will bring me down to 41 stitches, and then I'm going to make a decrease over here, which is going to bring me down to a total of 40 stitches for the round. So here, I'm going to go ahead and go into the first stitch where I started and make a slip stitch to join the round. So I'm just going to yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, and then I'm going to make a chain 1 to start the next round, and I'm going to start with a decrease stitch. So I'm going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. So I decreased 2 stitches to 1. Then I'm going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch to the point where I placed my yarn marker. So you can see my yarn marker right here. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch to that yarn marker. And then once I reach the yarn marker, I'm going to make a decrease stitch, or it's also known as single crochet 2 stitches together. So go into that next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. Then I'm going to continue for my project just 1 single crochet in every stitch back to where I started. So now I have 40 stitches total around, which I'm going to maintain until I get higher up on the leg. And then once I get to a higher row on the sock, I'll show you how to increase the number of stitches in case you need a little bit wider opening at the top. Now I'm just going to get a yarn marker and place it right where I left off. For me, I just use one of my scraps of yarn to mark where I left off. Now, whatever stitch that you ended up with for your slipper sock, you're going to maintain that number of stitches. So for beginners, I would recommend counting, because if you increase the number of stitches, it's just going to get wider and wider. And if you decrease the number of stitches in the round, it's going to get smaller and smaller. So you want to maintain the size, which means that every row that you're creating now should have a total of 40 stitches, or whatever stitches you ended up with on this round. So for my sock, if you're following along, I made 1 more round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around with my white colored yarn. And when I get back to my yarn marker, I'm going to show you how to change colors for the next round. Once you reach your yarn marker, you can go ahead and remove it. And then you're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So go into that next stitch, yarn over, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now you're going to take and join your crochet hook in the stitch where you finished off. We're going to join the black yarn, so you just hook the yarn and bring it through. Go ahead and chain 1. And then just tie a knot with the 2 loose yarn ends. Then you're going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Now I've reached the beginning. Now for beginners, go ahead and count your stitches. Make sure that you still have the same stitch count. For mine, I still have the 40. Here you're going to see this little tiny area that looks like a stitch where we joined the new color. I'm not going to work in that stitch. I'm going to go into the main stitch, the first stitch for the round, and I'm going to bring up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to join my new color. So whatever color that you're using, go ahead and grab the new color, and I'm just going to show you with the sock design what it'll look like. So here on the sock, we made the 1 round of single crochet with the black yarn, and now we're going to make this design with the white colored yarn. So if you wanted a different color for this design, you can do that at this time. So now I'm going to take and loop the yarn and bring it through both loops on my crochet hook. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1. Then you can take and tie a knot. You can change the number of sets too that you want. I'm going to make sets of 3. And also, as you crochet, you're going to be carrying your black yarn with you and the white loose yarn end to bury it. So you're going to go into the first stitch, go behind the black yarn and the white loose yarn end, bring up a loop, make a single crochet. So there's 1. I'm going to make 1 single crochet and 2 more stitches. 2, 3. Now I'm going to drop the white yarn and pick up the black yarn, and then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches with my black yarn. And then I'm just going to alternate this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. I'm going to make 1 more set with you. So I'm going to drop the black yarn, pick up the white yarn, and then just continue 1 single crochet in every stitch around in sets of 3. And when you reach the beginning, come back and I'll show you what to do next. And then this is what my design pattern looks like so far. Now I'm back to the beginning, and this is where you can have fun and you can line up your white stitches, or you can alternate the white stitches so that the white stitches fall between. So I'm going to show you how to do both. For the first one, I'm going to line up the white stitches. So for the next round, I'm back to the beginning now. For this next round, I'm going to, I made more than 1 single crochet with the black yarn to meet up with the white yarn. So I'm going to continue making 1 single crochet in each of the stitches with the black yarn. And then once I get to the white yarn stitch, I'm going to drop the black yarn, pick up the white yarn, go into that stitch, bring up a loop, make my single crochet, and then just make 1 single crochet into each of the 3 stitches that have the white yarn in it. Then I'm going to drop the white yarn and then create the 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches with the black yarn. And I'm going to keep alternating and repeating this pattern. And this is what it will look like when you get back to the beginning. Now I'm back to the beginning. I have 3 stitches left with the black yarn because I'm going to alternate now with the white yarn in 3 stitches and then 3 stitches with the black yarn. But I wanted to show you how it lines up. So the first 2 rows, you can see how I lined up the white yarn. Oop, looks like here it's a little bit to the slant, but that's alright. And then here too, and then here too. You can have fun with wherever you want to have your stitches fall. So far I'm happy with how mine is. And now I'm going to make the next round. So for the next round, I'm going to drop the black yarn, pick up the white yarn, and then make 1 single crochet in 3 stitches with the white yarn. Then I'm going to drop the white yarn, pick up the black yarn, and then alternate 3 with the black yarn, 3 with the white yarn, with the black yarn falling right above the stitches with the white yarn. So here I'm back to the beginning. I can tell by where I started here. So far I've completed 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. I want a total of 7 rounds. This is what my work looks like so far. So I'm going to keep alternating and creating whatever design that I want for this portion of the sock until I've completed 7 rounds. And then when you come back, I'll show you what to do next. If you're like me and you twist your yarn up as you're rotating, this is what I do. I leave a little bit of a loop there, and then I just take the 2 strands of yarn, and then I just let it untwirl. And then continue. And that works well for me. Some people pay attention to how they lay down the yarn. To me, it's just quicker to do it that way. This is what mine looks like after completing 7 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm ready to continue on with just my black yarn. So what I'm going to do is take and cut the white yarn. Leave a long enough loose yarn end for burying into your work. Then you can take and tie a knot. Then you're just going to continue crocheting. 1 single crochet in every stitch. Go behind the white yarn to bury it as you crochet your single crochets, and make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. I just want to show you the detail of my work on this one for the design. And then here is my other sock and the detail that I have for this design. Then you're just going to continue working in rounds with your black yarn only, making 1 single crochet in every stitch around for another 8 rounds. So an additional 8 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch with your black colored yarn. So after you finish your rounds of your last color, then you're going to go ahead and join the next color. For mine, I'm joining the gray yarn. So I'm going to bring up a loop, and then I'm going to take my gray colored yarn and just loop it through both, and then chain 1. Then you can flip your work over and just tie a knot. I'm going to go ahead and cut my black yarn. I'm not going to carry it any longer at this point. And then I'm just going to crochet 1 single crochet in every stitch with my gray yarn, and I'm going to do that for 4 rounds. So I'm going to carry my loose yarn ends, go into the next stitch over, going behind my loose yarn ends, and just making 1 single crochet in every stitch until I've completed 4 rounds. So I'm back to where I started. I finished 4 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. For when we changed colors here, you could see there's a little bit of a step off. So now if you like a more seamless color change, I'm going to show you another method. Just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook, and then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the stitch right where you finished off. So here's my loose yarn end. Go ahead and take your next colored yarn. In my case, I'm using my white colored yarn. I'm going to hook it and bring up a loop. Then I'm going to chain 1. You can go ahead and tie a knot with your 2 loose yarn ends. Then you're just going to go into the next stitch over, behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make your single crochet. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you've completed 3 rounds. Then you can see the difference in the color changes. Now go ahead and change colors and make 3 rounds with your black yarn of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. This is how my work looks so far. I've already joined my new color, the white colored yarn. For this round, I'm going to show you how to increase your number of stitches for the round. And because I'm just showing you how to do it, I'm only putting 2 increase stitches, which means I'm going to increase the number of stitches in my round by 2. So I've evenly spaced my yarn markers. So if you wanted to add more, you just evenly space them around where you would like to increase by the number of stitches that you want to increase. For example, if I wanted to increase by 4, then I would add 2 more yarn markers where I would like to make the increased stitches. But for this demonstration purpose, I'm just going to show you how I increase by 2 stitches. So after you join your new yarn, go ahead and make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you reach your first yarn marker, and then come back. So I finished 1 single crochet in every stitch and I've reached my first yarn marker. I'm going to go ahead and remove the yarn marker, and I'm going to place 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And what that does is it increases the stitch count by 1 because I put 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So now I have 1 extra stitch. And that's how you increase the number of stitches in the round. Then I'm just going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next stitches until I get to my next yarn marker. Now I've reached my next yarn marker. I'm going to go ahead and remove that and put 2 stitches, 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and that increases the stitch count by 1 more. So now I have 2 extra stitches in the round that I've created. Then I'm just going to finish making 1 single crochet in every stitch back to where I started. So now I'm just going to show you real quick how the stitch count can be helpful to you. So here is a chain of 40. So each of these chains is equivalent to 1 stitch. So if you took a tape measure and measured around your calf or wherever it is that you're trying to fit to size, you see that this stitch of 40 or chain of 40 measures 11 inches. So on that last round that we did, we made a stitch count of 42. So I'm going to add 2 more stitches or chains to make it to 42, and then you can see how it makes it larger. So now I'm almost at 11.5 inches as opposed to 11 inches with the 40 stitch count. So the more stitches that you add with the method that I showed you, the larger you make your opening for your sock. So now that's the size that I have. So if you wanted it a little bit larger, then you would keep increasing to the size that you want. And if you need a lot larger size, then I would make a gradual increase. So say you did 2 for the first round, and then you add 4 or 3 or 4 for the next round, and then keep making it until the size that you want for your slipper sock. I would recommend that when you're making your color changes, make your color changes towards the back of your sock slipper. After you finish your 3 rounds of 1 single crochet with the white colored yarn, then you're going to change color and make 3 rounds with your gray colored yarn. So I just finished my 3rd round with the gray, and since I want to move where I'm changing my colors, I'm stopping in the back of my slipper sock. So here is where I'm going to start my new design. So I'm going to show you how to create this cross stitch design if you want to make the same pattern for yours. You just go into the next stitch over and just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you're just going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm just going to show you that for each stitch there's a front loop. So here is the front loop, and then if you go right down the center you can go into the back loop. So we're going to be working in the back loops and the front loops. So you just take your crochet hook and we're going to make a double crochet. We're going to skip the first stitch and make a double crochet into the second stitch back loop only. So you just yarn over, you skip this stitch, go into the second stitch, go right down the center of the stitch and grab that back loop only. You're going to bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to make your double crochet. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the skipped stitch. So you're going to go into the skipped stitch right down the center in the front loop only. You're going to bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and make your double crochet. And then you just finished your first cross stitch, double crochet, cross stitch, alternating front loop and back loop. Or I should say back loop and front loop. So I'm going to make a couple of them with you. So I'm going to make my double crochet, skip a stitch, go down the center of the second stitch in the back loop only, bring up a loop, make my double crochet. Then I'm going to make a double crochet in the skipped stitch in the front loop only. And it creates this beautiful cross stitch. So go ahead, finish making your double crochet cross stitches, alternating back loop and front loop all the way back to the beginning where you made your first initial chain 3. So now I've finished my next to last cross stitch. I have one left. I have 1 stitch before my first chain 3 that I made. So I want to make 1 more cross stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double crochet into the stitch right after my first chain 3. So I'm going to skip this stitch, I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go into the back loop of the stitch right after my initial chain 3. So here's my initial chain 3. I went into the next stitch after that and grabbed the back loop only. I'm going to make my double crochet, and then that creates a cross stitch with my initial chain 3. Then I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of the initial chain 3. And then that finishes up that round with a cross stitch. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. This is how my work looks so far. You have these gorgeous cross stitches all the way around. And now I'm going to take and join my white colored yarn. So you tie a knot just like you've done for the previous color changes. Then you're just going to make one round of one single crochet in every stitch around. So again, I'm going to bury my loose yarn ends. And then go ahead, finish one round of one single crochet into every stitch around. Then join the black yarn, and you're going to make 3 rounds of one single crochet in every stitch around with your black colored yarn. After you finish your 3 rounds of the one single crochet in every stitch with your black yarn, then you're going to join your white yarn and we're going to start a new design. You're going to make one single crochet into 3 stitches. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the second row down. So you just yarn over, you go down into that second row, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. So you're going to make a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Then you're going to make a double crochet. Let me just show you with a tapestry needle. So here is the next stitch. You're not going to work the double crochet into that stitch. You're going to go into the stitch directly below that stitch and make your double crochet into that stitch. I'm still working behind my loose yarn ends, and you can pull up slightly with that loop that you created and then make your double crochet, and you can see the cute pattern that it creates for this round. So I'm going to make one more with you. One single crochet into 3 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and cut my loose yarn ends, get them out of the way. And then I'm going to make my double crochet into the stitch below the next stitch. Pull up slightly so that the loops are even. Make my double crochet and then repeat all the way around back to the beginning. Now I'm back to the beginning. I just finished my last single crochet, and you could see how I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to make one more double crochet to make it even. So I'm going to make a double crochet into the stitch below. Then I'm going to take my crochet hook, go into the next stitch over. I'm going to bring up a loop, and I'm going to join my black colored yarn. And this time you're going to carry the white yarn as you crochet, so don't cut the white colored yarn. I'm just going to tie a knot. Then you're going to take and start crocheting with the black colored yarn and carry the white colored yarn and the loose yarn end. So then you're going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make a single crochet into the next stitch over. Then you're going to take and drop the black yarn, pick up the white yarn, and make a double crochet around the previous row's double crochet. So you yarn over, go around the post of the previous row's double crochet. We're going to make a front post double crochet. So bring up a loop, yarn over, make your double crochet. Then you're going to drop the white colored yarn, pick up the black colored yarn, and make a single crochet into each of the previous rows single crochet. And then you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. I'm just going to keep working a couple with you so you can see the pattern. So I'm going to drop my black yarn, pick up my white yarn, make a front post double crochet, and then I'm just going to keep repeating this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. Now I'm back to where I started. This is what my work looks like so far at the top. And you're just going to keep repeating this pattern for 3 more rounds. 1 single crochet into 3 stitches with my black yarn. Then I drop the black yarn, pick up the white yarn, go into the previous row's double crochet post for a front post double crochet. Drop the white yarn, pick up the black yarn, 1 single crochet into 3 stitches with the black yarn. And you could pull on the white yarn gently, drop the black yarn, make a front post double crochet with the white yarn. And then you just keep repeating this pattern all the way around until you've completed 3 rounds of the black in the center. This is how my work looks after finishing 3 rounds with the single crochet of black yarn in between your front post double crochets. Now you can go ahead and cut the black yarn. Leave enough for burying into your work and tie a knot. Make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So now I'm back. I finished my last single crochet for the round. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through. Actually, just slip stitch. Let me do that again. So I'm going into the next stitch, yarn over, and then pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. For this round, you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So 1 double crochet in every stitch around. And I'll just do a close-up for you. Show you 1 more stitch. And then you can go ahead and complete your double crochets, 1 double crochet in every stitch back to your first chain 3. Now I'm back to my first chain 3 stitch. I'm going to make a slip stitch into that top stitch of that first chain 3. So yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And then go ahead and join your gray colored yarn. Now, with your gray colored yarn, go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And for this one, for this round, actually the next 3 rounds, you're going to make 3 front post double crochet. So 1 front post double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So you yarn over, you're going to go around the post of the previous row's double crochet, and they call it a front post double crochet because the post of the previous row's double crochet is in front of your crochet hook. Then you go ahead and bring up a loop, make your double crochet, so you're going to do that for 2 more stitches, 1 front post double crochet around the next stitch, and then you're just going to have to bury your loose yarn ends later. I'm going to let those drop. 1 more front post double crochet. Then you're going to make 3 back post double crochet. So for the back post double crochet, you're going to yarn over and then you're going to go behind the previous row's double crochet. So go behind that post, and you can see how the post is behind the crochet hook now, and that's how it gets the name back post double crochet. So then you're going to bring up a loop, after you bring up a loop you're going to yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 2 to complete a back post double crochet. So I'm going to work 2 more with you. So I'm going behind and around the front of the post with my crochet hook so that I have a back post double crochet. I'm going to bring up a loop, so now I have 2 back post double crochet. I'm going to make 1 more, and then you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. I'm going to work 1 more set with you. So 1 front post double crochet in the next 3 stitches, then I'm going to work 1 back post double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then just repeat all the way around back to the beginning. Now I made it back around and I'm back to my initial chain 3. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 to join the round. Then you're ready to chain 3 for the next round. 1, 2, 3. And then you're just going to repeat. So you're going to make 1 front post double crochet around the next 3, And then you're going to make one back post double crochet around the next 3 back post double crochet. And then you're just going to keep repeating until you've completed this round, and then you're going to make one more round for 3 total and then come back. Now after you finish your 3rd round, this is what mine looks like and how yours should look. I went ahead and slip stitched to my first chain 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you're finished with your sock design. So this is what it looks like at the top, and then here's the bottom of the sock. Then you can take your tapestry needle. Most of your loose yarn ends should be buried, but whatever loose yarn ends that you have, you can take your tapestry needle and just take and weave it through the inside of your work. And then once it's buried, you can take and cut the loose yarn end. Go ahead and bury any loose yarn ends that you have, and when you come back I'll show you how to make a cute little flower if you want to put a flower onto your slipper sock. Now for the flower, I took my white yarn and I folded it over on itself to form a loop. We're going to make a slip knot. Just take your middle finger and thumb and hold the base of the loop, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into that first chain that you made, and then you're going to make a slip stitch. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both for a slip stitch, and then you form a ring. We're going to be working into the center of the ring, so take your crochet hook, go into the center of the ring, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, make a single crochet into the center of the circle again, and then you just created 1 chain 3 loop. You're going to make 5 of these chain 3 loops. So then chain 3, single crochet into the center of the circle for your second chain 3 loop, and you can move these loops over too as you work. Chain 3, single crochet into the center of the circle for your third chain 3 loop, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go into the center of the circle for your fourth, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the center of the circle. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 3 loops. I'm going to make one more chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made. So go into that first single crochet that you made, make a slip stitch, yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain 3 loops. You're going to work into that first chain 3 loop and make a single crochet, and we're going to start our first petal into the first chain 3 loop. So I made 1 single crochet. Now you're going to make a half double crochet, yarn over, go into the same chain 3 loop, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Then you're going to make a double crochet, yarn over, go into the same chain 3 loop, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make another half double crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet. So you just finished one petal in the chain 3 loop. I'm going to make one more petal with you in the next chain 3 loop. So I'm going into the next chain 3 loop, making a single crochet. Now I'm going to make a half double crochet. A double crochet. A half double crochet. And a single crochet. So I just finished 2 petals. Go ahead, finish making your petals all the way around in each of the chain 3 loops and then come back. I finished all of my petals. I'm back to the beginning. I'm going to make a slip stitch into that first single crochet that I made. Then we're going to start working in the inner spokes. So you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go straight down in the middle of that inner spoke, go behind the post of the spoke, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to go around the next spoke. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go around the next spoke on the inner portion of your flower, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, chain 2, go around the next spoke, make a single crochet, chain 2, next spoke, bring up a loop, single crochet, chain 2, next spoke, bring up a loop, single crochet, chain 2, next spoke, chain 2. Then you're back to the beginning. I'm going to go right down the center again of that first spoke, make a single crochet, I'm going to make one more chain 2, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that I made on the inner spoke. And then this is how my work looks. I have chain 2 spaces all around the center. So now I'm going to go into the first chain 2 space. I'm going to make a single crochet, and then I'm going to make 3 half double crochet. And then I'm going to make a single crochet. And then I have an inner petal. So I'm going to make one more inner petal with you. I'm going to go into the next chain 2 space, make a single crochet. Then I'm going to make 3 half double crochet. Then I'm going to make a single crochet, and I'm going to repeat all the way around in each of the chain 2 spaces in the center of the flower. Then when you reach the beginning, go ahead and make a slip stitch into that first single crochet you made on the inner spoke, And then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now you just want to take your tapestry needle and weave the loose yarn end towards the inside of the flower. Go ahead and tie a knot with the loose yarn ends and then just bury these loose yarn ends into your work. This is how your flower should look so far. You have the outer petals and then you have the inner petals. Now I'm going to show you how to put the yellow portion into the center of your flower. Now just get whatever color yarn you want for the center of your flower, and we're going to start with a magic circle. Take the yarn, drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize. Wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Take your crochet hook, go under those 2 loops around the middle fingers, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then take your forefinger and thumb and hold the base of the 6 single crochet. You have these 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one of them. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. And just close it as much as you can. Don't worry if you don't get it completely closed at this point, because we can close it more later. Then take your loose yarn end and pull on that. Then just turn your work so that we're going to work into the first stitch. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, both loops of the first stitch, and you're going to make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And then you're going to make 2 single crochets into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. So that's 4. I'm just going to go ahead and work this with you. 6. 8, 10, and 12. Then you can take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over. We're going to make a slip stitch. Just yarn over, pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the center onto the flower. And right now you can go ahead and turn it over and pull on that loose yarn end to completely close the center of your magic circle. Now you can take and place the circle into the center of your flower. I just took the loose yarn end and put it right through the center. Get your tapestry needle, place it onto the long end that you left for sewing. Then you can take your sock, the slipper sock, and then position the flower where you want to have it. And I sewed it right beneath the gray portion. So here is the front of the sock, and then I'm just going to take and sew it right beneath the gray portion, just like this, and then you're able to sew it in place. Just make sure you don't go all the way through to the back. You only want to go through the front portion of the sock. And then I just sewed it in place. And I went right through the outer edge of the circle only and sewed it in place. And this is what the 2 flowers look like after I've sewn them in place.